Lisa helped Marie undress, and then, despite her protests, managed to get her under the shower. Afterward, she helped her get dressed and went down with her. Fernando was watching a football game in the living room but turned off the television as soon as they came downstairs and accompanied them to the kitchen. "It's not worth it to get dishes out, we can eat straight from the containers, we just need some utensils," he said. Lisa nodded in agreement and they sat down at the table. Sensing that Marie was calmer, she finally asked, "Marie, what happened since we talked this morning?" Marie lifted her head. She looked at Lisa and then at Fernando before lowering her gaze again. "You can tell us," Lisa continued. "Fernando is not here to judge you. We all know." Marie nodded, indicating her understanding. She started to speak slowly, interrupting herself a few times when tears welled up in her eyes, but eventually, she recounted everything that had happened, including both conversations she had with him, and pointed to the keys and the ring still sitting in the corner of the table. When she finished, there was silence among them. "I understand he was angry. In fact, I realized he wasn't well, but I never thought." Fernando sighed and gave an ironic smile. Lisa noticed and looked at him, surprised. "What was that?" she asked. "Sorry, but I think it's incredible that you both don't understand," he replied. Marie also raised her head, looking at him, trying to comprehend. "What do you mean by that?" Lisa asked. "You really don't get it, do you?" Both women stared at him, astonished, as if he suddenly held the key to an unsolvable riddle for them. "Why don't you try to enlighten us?" Lisa asked, her tone genuinely curious. Somehow, she felt that something was slipping away from her, not just regarding Marie's situation, but in much more than that due to her husband's tone. "Lisa, you know I love you." "I know. Truly. And you know I feel the same." "Yes, I know. I'm sure of that. But have you ever asked yourself why, with the position we hold in society, I let you sleep with other men?" The question caught her off guard. Not that she hadn't thought about it before, but now, confronted, she was at a loss for words. "Because you also like the feeling of being with another woman." "Do you think that's why?" "Because it gives you some pleasure to know that I'm desired by other men." "Well, honestly, it does. Knowing you're appreciated, but you're mine. But not in the sense that I know you're going to bed with them. There are men like that, a minority, who even enjoy being in the same room as their women with lovers, but do you think I'm one of them?" "No, not at all. Have I ever asked you for details about your nights out?" "Now that you mention it, never." "Do you think I like you going to bed with other men?" Lisa looked at her husband, not knowing what to say. He continued, "You know, we are animals, the product of genetic programming over countless generations. And the big difference between humans and other mammals is that our offspring take years to become minimally independent. And this has created an interesting dynamic in our species. Men and women want sex, that's true. It's imperative for the survival of the species." "And where are you going with this biology lesson?" Lisa asked. "Well, for women, sex can lead to pregnancy. A pregnancy can imply long months of incapacity, death in childbirth, which was more common than we imagine today, and years caring for an offspring. So a woman needs a partner to take care of everything else, to ensure sustenance and protect her and the offspring. And what does a woman have that a male wants? Sex. Women offer sex in exchange for security and intimacy." They looked at him, trying to process. Now, a man who wants a particular woman either takes her by force, which is not a very viable way today, but has been common throughout our existence, or manages to have a fleeting relationship with her, or if he wants a long-term relationship, he has to offer presence, security, and intimacy in exchange for sex. Given this, what do you think is more important for a woman and for a man? "Well, intimacy," Lisa started. "No," he interrupted her. "For a man, intimacy is a way to get to sex. For a woman, sex is a means to achieve intimacy." They continued to look at him, and he went on. I know the life I lead. The stress, the hours, the travels. Lisa, I know that although I provide and try to give you everything you deserve because I want to give you everything you deserve, I can't be as present as I would like. And I'm not stupid. Sooner or later, someone would give you that attention, and you would find a lover, become emotionally involved with him, and break my heart. Lisa stared at him in shock. How had they never talked about this openly? I would never do that to you, Lisa said, with absolute certainty. Never say never. The possibility of it happening is greater than it not happening. How many men have come onto you behind my back, things you don't even think are important and don't even tell me. That's why this club exists. We're all in the same boat. None of us can be present as much as we would like. It's easy to say that you already knew when you married us, but that doesn't eliminate the risks. And so, you have an escape. You value intimacy more than the sexual act itself, and when you return after a night, you always realize that intimacy you feel with us in sex, resulting from the excitement you had with another. But you're not going to tell me this is all about us. You have fun too. I won't deny it, that's true, but don't you think it would be easy for any of us to hire a high-class prostitute and have pornographic sex without you ever knowing about it than to watch our wives going to bed with another man? They both fell silent, looking at him, not knowing what to think. The Perry's wife was very close to cheating on him. Fortunately, she gained some common sense in time and ended up talking to him. They realized they had a problem, and they ended up founding this unofficial club. It solves the problem of monotony, the lack of something exciting, and there are no misunderstandings. And the fact that there's a draw ensures there are no emotional connections. Have you noticed that none of the husbands gets involved with any of you? There are no friend dinners among the whole group. You meet up and have fun, we meet up and do the same. Of course, if we run into each other somewhere, we can have a casual chat, but never a lasting one. Why do you think that is? So, you never liked going to the meetings? No, and every time I go, I pray to all the saints that my number comes out before yours, because every time your number comes out first, seeing you walk towards another man and kiss him tears my heart out of my chest. Lisa looked at him with a sudden realization of everything, as did Marie. But Lisa, hearing her husband speak like this for the first time, felt her soul breaking. Of course, I know what I'm getting into. I still remember when you timidly proposed the idea, and little did you know that I was aware of everything. Of course, I accepted. It's my punishment for what I can't give you. At this point, Lisa was in shock, not knowing what to say. I always thought that you not only didn't care, but that you actually enjoyed it. My friends told me how you had been with them and always said you were a wonderful lover. Going back, a man is programmed to try to impregnate as many females as possible to ensure that his genes pass to the next generation. Sex without intimacy is free opportunities, although we consciously know that it won't be in these encounters that the genes will pass. But instinct takes over, and we do what we have to do. It's free sex. Even if it's bad, it's good. But my desire has always been to have you there instead of any other woman. Lisa looked at him, completely stunned, not knowing what to say. Suddenly, she realized that what had seemed to her a fun distraction, a source of excitement, a break from routine, was actually something her husband would give up with a simple word from her. The weight of his feelings over the years suddenly bore down on her. Now, knowing that I'm in on it and enjoy the benefits of the club, I still don't like it. Imagine what he felt. Marie looked at him with wide eyes. What was a simple escape for you, a fleeting emotional fulfillment, a night of fun, was, for him, the ultimate betrayal and disrespect. From what I know of Alex, he has always been present and attentive to the family, and to you, hasn't he? Marie nodded. And you thought that if the night turned out to be fun for him, things would eventually soften. Marie nodded again. But imagine for a moment that everything went well, he was here today, but that as a result of the night, he fell in love with Lisa and started drifting away from you. Marie shuddered. You know, that would be equivalent to what you did. It doesn't seem so to you because you value something different from what he values. Lisa, I've never asked you for details about your nights, but today it's actually relevant. Can you explain to me what happened last night? Lisa took a deep breath and then began recounting everything she had told Marie. Lisa, do you think any man who desired you would treat you that way? Has anyone ever treated you like that? No. It was an extremely uncomfortable night until he dragged me to the room, and when we got there, she stopped before saying too much. You can say it, Fernando encouraged her. If I'm right, what you're about to say will only reinforce what I'm going to say next. There wasn't a hint of tenderness from him, there was no affection. He ripped my clothes off my body, he was animalistic. And do you know why? Because he didn't desire you. What he wanted was probably to hurt you. You were there, and you symbolized the end. And that was the only way he had to punish you. It wasn't because it was you. Whoever was there would have the same symbolism. Lisa looked at her husband with an understanding expression. Yes, he didn't want her, he didn't desire her. They heard a car arriving, and the conversation stopped there. Shortly after, Patricia entered the house. With her arrival, Lisa and Fernando said goodbye to Marie, and Lisa promised her that she would come the next day and spend the day with her. They took Fernando's car, leaving hers parked in front of Marie's house. The next day, Fernando would take her back, and she would drive her car home. Lisa fell into a thoughtful silence as they got into the car. They hardly spoke during the drive. They got home and took a shower together. They laid down, turned off the lights, and after a few minutes of silence, Lisa said, I don't think I want to go back to the club. Really? I think so. You know, I said all that to help your friend understand what she did and why he reacted that way. It wasn't to send you any indirect message. We've been together for years and there have never been any problems. She remained silent for a while and then said, you know, I love you too much to know that in some way I'm hurting you. You are the one I want, the one I desire, the one I want by my side when my body becomes ugly and I start to look like a witch. You are my man. And after what you said today, I never want another man to touch me. Even in the dark, she could feel his smile. And God help you if you ever touch another woman. He burst out laughing and kissed her, she kissed him back, and suddenly they were lost in each other, perhaps in the most complete way in years.